Hello, welcome to Spotlight. This is Spotlight on code enforcement for the city of Lake Havasu City. My name is Luke Morris. I'm the code enforcement inspector for the city. And code enforcement is a pretty important thing, actually, citywide for any municipality. Code enforcement, we deal a lot with reports from the public about things that deal with zoning and nuisance ordinance. So things like some of the most common complaints that we do receive would be, oh, there's junk in my neighbor's yard. Their backyard or their side yard or their front yard's got junk in it. Or it's got like an inoperable vehicle. A vehicle's been sitting there for years and not running, or it's not registered. We also get complaints about I think someone's running a business next door to me in this residential area. Is that allowed, or will you check it out? We also get some reports about weeds or people living in RVs, or trash out early is another big thing that we receive. So all those sorts of complaints or reports come in to us, and then we check them out. We talk to the person who's reporting them, and they can report them by a number of different means. You can report it calling us up. The phone number for code enforcement is, of course, 928-854-0722. And you can call us anonymously. We take anonymous complaints or reports, and we go check them out. So we also accept email reports. So if you want to email, you can email them to my email address is Morris, that's Morris, and then the letter L for Luke, all run together. So morrisl at lhcaz.gov. You could also send in a form at the front counter. You could fill out what the complaint is, and we would check it out. So there's a number of ways you can bring the matter to our attention. Now, what happens when we receive a report? Well, we of course log it in our system. We schedule it for an inspection, initial inspection. Try to get within 2 to 3 days. Sometimes maybe a little longer, 4 days. But we try to get it as soon as we can, get it into the pipeline and get it scheduled. I'll go out, make an inspection on the site, try to make contact at that property with the property owner or the occupant, whoever's there. Part of what we do as code enforcement is educate the public as to what the regulations are and how they can bring their property to compliance. So I'll go to the property, see what we can find, see if we can document the violation or the allegation, and try to make contact there. If no one's home, I'll have to leave a little note asking them to please get in touch with me so I can discuss what the situation is there and see how we can work together to bring the property into compliance. I'll give them a week. If I don't hear anything from them, then I'll do a re-inspection, and then if the situation appears to still be a violation, then we'll send a violation notice and begin the official violation process. And that process involves giving them at least 30 days for a typical violation to bring it in compliance. So they'll receive a letter in the mail explaining what the violation is, what the section number of the code is, some photos, if applicable, showing what the violations are, and again, give them 30 days to bring it into compliance. And then about a week before that 30 days up, we'll schedule it for an inspection just to see if it's done ahead of that time. And if it's not, then we'll send another little reminder. Hey, you still got just a few days now to take care of this, and bring it into compliance. Now, if let's say they don't bring it into compliance, what happens then? Well, majority of the time, people do come into a compliance. Or if they're close and they need a little more time, we're able to work with them and give them an extension of time for a little bit, 2 or 3 weeks maybe, to bring the whole thing into compliance. And if that still isn't working and they're still not in compliance, then they may end up going to our city prosecutor's office to be prosecuted as a criminal offense against the misdemeanor offense against the zoning or the nuisance code. Again, we don't get a whole lot of those, but we get a lot of compliance, voluntary compliance, bringing people into meeting the codes. A number of, again, some of the big things we get are the most common complaints are junk in the yard. I've got junk, or my neighbor's got junk, they've got a car that's inoperable. Another thing we get a lot of complaints on is the number of vehicles parked in a yard. And there's some misconception about number of vehicles. You can have basically any number of vehicles parked in your property, on your property, wherever, as long as those vehicles are registered and roadworthy, they're okay to be parked anywhere as long as they're not causing a traffic hazard, so visibility, someone trying to pull out of their driveway or drive up and down the street. They're allowed to be there. It may not look very nice, but at this point there's nothing in our code that says they can't have them. As long as they're registered and roadworthy, they're allowed to be on the property. Some other, again, I mentioned trash, debris, litter, that sort of stuff in yards. One resource that I want to make sure people know about, the trash company does offer what's called bulky item pickup. 6 times a year, you can arrange a special pickup for bulky items that maybe you were going to take to the dump or never got around to it. Call the trash company. The trash company their phone number is 928-855-9441. Again, that's 928-855-9441, and they're very helpful. Explain to them what you have, tell them, of course, your address and what you have, and they'll explain to you whether you can or can't put that out for bulky waste pickup. And be aware that that bulky waste pickup day may be different than your normal trash day. So make sure you call the trash company and set up a schedule to come pick up your bulky waste. If you've got complaints about or concerns about like dog poop or green pools or someone's ground feeding pigeons or something in your neighborhood, those are all things that are covered by the Mojave County Environmental Health Department. Now they've got an office here in Lake Havasu City over on College Drive, and you can call them at 928-453-0712 for dog poop or, again, green pools, swimming pools, or ground feeding pigeons. Even though we're within Lake Havasu City, the county health department will come out and investigate those. Again, that number is 928-453-0712. And then press 0 when you get there. That'll get you right to who you need to talk to. And other complaints we receive from time to time deal with, well, someone's parked out in front of my street, in front of my driveway, or out by my street, and they've been parked there for a number of days and the vehicle's just sitting there. Or, hey, we got loud neighbors. They're noisy neighbors. They're causing disruption to the neighborhood because of that loud party or loud noise or something. Those would be things that our police department would be happy to check those out. They have a non-emergency number of course, 928-855-4111. Again, that number is 928-855-4111, and that's the police department's non-emergency number. So you can call them about noise complaints. They've got meters and stuff that measure noise levels, and about abandoned vehicles or vehicles that are parked out there near the street, and so they can deal with those sorts of issues. Like I said before, code enforcement, code compliance is a very important part of any city, and we strive here to bring the city together, bring the citizens and together to beautify our city, keep it nice. I think we're all working toward the same goal. The citizens, the visitors, the residents, the government, the employees, we all are trying to make Havasu a great place, continue to make it and improve Havasu and make it a great place to stay, visit, and just live. It's a wonderful community, and code enforcement is just one part of what makes Havasu great. So I hope this information is useful for you. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to give a call. My number is 928-854-0722. We look forward to serving you. Thank you.